I'm just waiting for everyone to join in. Good evening, Tanishka. Good evening, all of you. Hi, Priyank. Okay. Good evening, Harshit. Good evening, Kaushal, Mitali. Okay, so let's start. Today's discussion, you all can start posting your doubts, queries, whatever you have. Today's question will be mostly revolving, today's session will be revolving mostly around um, some tips for your IFoA upcoming exams. Now, a few things which you can keep in mind, which are extremely important, is you have done the equipment check. So make sure you guys have done the equipment check. If you haven't, then please complete it today itself. You have to do equipment check for paper A and paper B separately. For paper B, students who are appearing for paper B, make sure you keep in mind that you load all the R data and all the files and whatever CSV Excel file they have shared in their pre-exam material, so that you will get once you are doing the equipment check, you will get that, and it will help you. Um, Basically, you will have to load it in your R, keep it ready before the exam. So on the day of the exam, just make sure you load everything in your R and keep it ready for your exam. You obviously have to create your Word file during the exam time. All these I have discussed in my previous session when I was discussing the handbook. Now, how to study in these last few days. I'll come to it before I'll take all the questions that you are posting. Deepak is saying, see, in Deepak, most of you are writing this question. See, when we talk about actuarial science examination, you will never have an important topic as such. You can never say that, okay, in CM1 project appraisal will definitely come, or loan schedule will definitely come, or your profit testing ULIP sum will for sure it will come in your paper. Because we have seen in the past papers that there are sometimes that they, don't uh, give these questions which you think can come. And there are many a times where you get questions which you may not expect, so it's a professional exam. I don't think in any professional exam, be it your actuaries or anything else, you will ever have any important topic as such, right? So there is nothing such as important topic in any of the papers. You have to prepare for all. And if you want to skip any topic and go, you can always be, uh, expect you can expect that your question paper can have questions from those parts, so you cannot actually leave anything and move ahead. That's a very important thing that you need to keep in mind. Right now, what I will suggest you, those for specifically CM1 and CS1 students, since your exams are in next week, um, if you are underprepared, or if you feel you are underprepared, just go through the recent past papers. Extremely important. Again, what all other things, the class notes are very important. Don't do anything new. So if you have left any topic, uh, it might so happen you have not done any one of the topics before. So you can leave that, because in any which way you will not be able to solve it and do it in the next 10 days or 5 days, 6 days, whatever you have. So you leave it and you work upon and you revise whatever is. So I think there is a network issue from my end. I hope I'm audible to all of you. Okay. So, see, Tushar, I have discussed. So you can copy paste from Excel to Word. Just make sure that you show the working, or it can be in the bottom, at the bottom of the table. Both the ways are fine, but make sure you show the working. You can copy paste from Excel to Word. Just make sure you show the workings very, very nicely. If you are not doing that, then you will not get the marks. CM1, and if I say half a day for, so what I would have done if I would have been there in your place, Harshita, firstly, I would allocate all the 4 days. Okay, so I have Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I don't think you have 4 days exact. I think it's on Monday, right? So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 days you have. Just leave today's day. It's already gone. So what I would have done is on Sunday, I would have just gone through the notes copy. Tomorrow and on Saturday, what you guys can do is you can, whatever questions you had marked, maybe these are difficult, we'll just go through at the end moment. That those questions you can just go through, don't practice it, don't type it, just go through the solution and the question, very, very important. So that I would have done for paper A. Paper B, I would have just maybe done it tomorrow. On Saturday, Sunday, just do paper A. And then you can again resume your paper B on Monday. So now for paper B, I would have just gone through the assignment on Monday, which is the half day that you have. Just going through the assignments. It will take around 3 to 4 hours. Just go through the assignments. That's it. Don't do anything else. Tomorrow, you can maybe take out 3 hours, 4 hours for paper B again and go through all the past papers that you have done. So, whatever past papers that you have done, you might have felt like, okay, this question is difficult, important, and you might have marked the question. So, you can just go through those questions. That's it. Nothing else is required. ठीक है हर्षिता? So that you can do for the coming आपके जो भी 2-3 days है, and be very relaxed. Don't pick up anything new, and be very focused, and don't talk to friends a lot. Make sure equipment check is done, and that's it. And then just have full faith on yourself. You will do very good on the day of the exam. For CP2, what if we can't prepare the model? And is there something we can keep prepared? So, Pratik, there is nothing that you can keep that you can prepare beforehand for CP2 examination as such. But yes, I mean, if you're not able to make the model, which is the case for most, or I will say many students, the main marks distribution for CP2 is the audit trail and the summary. Audit trail has around 65 marks to 70 marks, 65 around, 60 to 65, and your summary has 80 plus marks. So I think even though your model is not absolutely correct, or you have done few mistakes, you might lose some marks. They still give a lot of marks to you, even though your model is not 100% accurate as the solution, because their solution is one of the solutions. They accept any solution that you give with proper assumptions, right? So in that case, in case of CP2, even though the model is not correct, you can definitely pass your exam on the basis of your audit trail, how you are writing. And also on the model, you get a lot of marks on the basis of different factors, right? That I have discussed in one of my lectures on CP2 at the start, and I discuss it in every class. If you have taken classes from us, you might be knowing. As far as I know, you haven't taken. So what you can do is you can go to our channel, and there is one video on CP2 introduction, so that you can see. But yes, model, I will say, even though you are not able to prepare the model, trust me, you will still clear. I've seen students clearing, and I've seen students preparing the model and still not clearing the paper because they have not written good audit trail. So that is again very important. 4 month enough? Yes, 4 month is absolutely enough to study CMN from scratch. How to do referencing, like taking values of a short. So table book, all the values that you are taking from table book, you need to mention from table book page number so and so. You can just copy paste it in your word, like from table book. This part you can copy paste, and the page number part can be changed. So I don't think it will be a very big deal, because when we used to have it on pen and paper, then also we used to always write from table book page number so and so. That is something which is there from since a very long time. Again, if I talk about referencing part, I've discussed this in my handbook video as well, but I will just say that for the referencing part, keep it very simple. All the formulas which you feel is directly taken from the material, give referencing for them. Any definition, any direct things which you're writing, for example, that will be mostly in your theory papers like CB1, CB2, and your theory questions of CM1, CS2. CM1, although has a lot of like very, very less theory, whatever theory was there has now gone to CS1. There is a drastic change in the syllabus in terms of theory that we have discussed in the class itself. So, if you get any theoretical question, and even though you are not directly copy pasting, which is definitely not allowed, you need to modify it in terms of your own language. But still, even if you feel that I've taken these parts, make sure you give referencing. If there are any, for example, if I write a recursive formula, if you remember in CM1, there is a recursive formula that we write. So if you're writing that, anything which there are something called as conversion rates. I don't exactly remember the name of it. Um, Conversion premium, I don't exactly remember, but if you're taking those sort of things which are directly in the table in your material, then definitely you need to give referencing. But obviously, when you are writing your own equations, like if it's a premium calculation question and you are writing your entire equation on the basis of the question itself, then definitely you don't have to do any kind of referencing. So that is something which you, and for the referencing, you need to write from uh, CMP, whatever material you're using from CMP, um, module 2, whatever the chapter is, so module name and page number. If you want, you can give the paragraph as well. So that is how you give referencing. Now you cannot do referencing from the past papers. So this is a very common question that I get from students, is that if there is any question similar to what we have done in the past papers, can I simply write from past papers and all that? No, you cannot do it. It's not correct. You cannot take referencing from past papers. um okay, do we have to switch off our net? No, it's not required, Nilisha. You can keep your net 100% on always. You need to download your paper, keep your net on, and you need to be logged in to the portal. Once you log into the portal, it stays logged in for another 6 hours. So you can download the paper, do everything, and then upload. There is nothing as such that you have to switch off your internet. Um, Pushya, for SP7, I have not appeared. I did study a few chapters, but for any SP paper in general, see, I cleared my SP5 in my third attempt, although I will not consider it. I was not prepared in my first attempt at all. That was just, I know, I just sat for it without preparing. But and in my second attempt, I failed by 1 mark. In my third attempt, I was able to clear it. So the only thing which I realized in CP1, SP7, these papers, and then I was able to clear my SP6 and SP7 in first attempt, is only because you need to focus on the question. So there are times, when they want you to explain your answer. For example, they are using the words explain, discuss, elaborate, um, extend. So these words basically mean, if it's a 5 mark question, they do 6 points and elaborate on each point. So each thing that you're talking about needs to be elaborated with example, causes, effects, and all those things. But if words like determine, state, what, these words are used, then they just want you to write the points. So if it's a 5 mark question, you're writing 10 different points. That's it. So this is something which you need to keep in mind. The more you focus, like if it's a 5 mark question, I'm writing 10 points. If it's a 5 mark question, I'm writing five and explaining whatever. So it should be very much question centric, because they extremely value that whether you are able to follow this or not. If not, they will not give you the marks. I did assets last moment, assets, I think you call it assets. That also helped me because the examiners report, the solution in the examiners report that IFoA releases never gives you, 100% exact solution. It's just an indicative solution. And also, again, Pusha, you need to be very, very your concept clarity needs to be very good, because mostly you will get application based questions. So you need to relate it to the, I have seen that, most of the students, they start writing whatever they know on the basis of their just, practical experience. That is obviously a very good thing. But again, at the same time, they expect you to use some important words, keywords, which is there in your material. This is true for all the theory parts, be it your comments in your CM1, CM2, CS1, CS2 papers, CB2 paper, CB1, in fact, CP one paper. So this part is true for all the theory parts in all the actuarial papers, and you need to relate it to a topic which is there in your syllabus. They don't want you to use your, do any kind of essay writing, storytelling. They don't want you to do that. They have given you a case study which you feel is very open ended. You can write anything from your general and knowledge and common sense. But at the end of the day, they want to see whether you have used keywords, you are able to relate it to the topics that you have studied in your SP paper or whatever paper it is. That is again a very good thing. So go through ACITs. Examiner's report does not have a lot of these kind of things, and try to memorize the concepts and some keywords. Use the keywords. That's it. That is my biggest tip for SP papers. CP2, the branch, you can attend the class on Saturday. You will be attending, so I'll give a lot of tips then. I've al- I've already shared. Mihika is also there. Okay, so you guys, I'm taking class on Saturday. You can attend, but see, and I've shared a lot of tips as well. Not elaborating in this session, but yeah, you can attend that. We'll be having class on Saturday. Can we copy things from question paper? And no. Can we create R file? R file is something which you can obviously keep open. You can open your R studio. You can import your R data or whatever CSV text files that you have got. That is what they expect you to do. Just that the Word file needs to be created within the time frame. Because if even though you're creating R, it will not make any sense, because you are anyways you will have to load the data. For that, you will anyways have to create your R beforehand. I'm a CS2 student and my college exams are ending on 8th, due to which I cannot prepare much for CS2. So now, how do I approach so that I can revise? Okay, Unnati, very big thing. Actually, revising CS2 in last 7-8 days, what you can do is, if you have any uh, class notes, you can easily go through the class notes. Extremely important. Go through all the summary of, if you have the material, go through the summary of all the chapters. Go through X assignments. If you haven't, if you have, then again go through the X assignments. If you have done question and answers, then you might have marked a lot of questions which you thought to be difficult. Go through them. For paper B, again, if you have the assignments, go through all the paper B assignments. Go through the recent past papers, like 3 to 4 past papers. Very important again. I am not asking you to solve everything, but at least going through it and retaining most of it in your mind will help you a lot. And if you have left any kind of topics, then please don't go through them. Just make sure whatever you have done, you are revising that only. And don't solve a lot of difficult questions during the last few days, because if you are not able to solve it, it actually, decreases your morale a lot. So make sure you don't do that. That is again a very important thing. Uh, Vandika, that's not allowed. You cannot do copy pasting and all. In CP2, if we do not make chart in the model, do we lose marks in the model in the summary? You lose both places, Dhruvi, because when you're not making your chart in the model, you are losing definitely marks over there in the spreadsheet portion. 2 mark, 3 mark, whatever the marks is allotted for the chart. And if you're not pasting, zero point 0.5. Remember, we discussed, Dhruvi, in class that some charts are of zero point 0.5, some of 1 mark. So you lose your marks over there. No, you cannot save your equations, Vandika. These questions are not correct actually. You cannot do these things. Not able to strike paper B whole question. See, this is something which is very common, Tushar. If you're not able to solve the entire question at one stretch, what you can do is whatever parts you are able to solve, please do that. Now, most of the times, what happens that I'm able to do till I'm able to do part one and one, two, three. I'm stuck in part four. Now, when I'm stuck in part four, I'm not obviously I'll not be able to proceed to part five. Now, what will I do to overcome this is that I will take any random answer for part three and I will take that answer and move ahead. For example, part three consisted of indexation and creating a subset of the original data. What I would have done if I was not able to create a subset, I would have used the data itself, the entire data, and done my rest of the parts. So you might not get marks for the part three, part four, whatever is for sure. But for the later parts, they will give you the marks. They will check your codes and they will give you the marks. This is true for paper A, paper B both. Don't sit for a 2 mark question. Don't sit 10 minutes for a 2 mark question or 15 minutes for a 5 mark question. It's absolutely waste of time. Just do whatever you are able to do at that point of time and whatever you are able to understand and skip and move ahead. You are definitely going to lose marks for that, which anyways you were going to, but at least you are able to score marks in rest of the parts and you are able to solve most of the questions. The target over here is to solve more and more marks, because that is how you will be able to meet the passing marks. If you are solving, like if you are only doing a 70 marks paper, you cannot expect to get above 60 easily, because obviously you might be making a lot of mistakes somewhere or the other. But if you are solving around 85 plus 90 plus marks of paper, then definitely you can expect to clear your exam, because you might have taking a like variability of 20 marks, you definitely can clear. So that's very important, and this is where there is a difference between a smart student who has prepared a lot of mocks and who knows how to appear for the exam, rather than someone who has just studied but does not know how to sit for the exam, or maybe not given a lot of mocks. So this is something you need to keep in mind. Um, See, when you are Nishita writing answers which are different from your material or a solution, it can happen, because in theory, generally this happens. But if your points are relevant to the point, your examiner will definitely give you the marks. So I have seen a lot of variation in the marking by the two examiners. Generally, there are two examiners, and generally, we also have the third examiner. So I've seen a lot of variability in the marking scheme. That is only because some examiner considers your point to be valid, some examiner might not. So whatever you can come up with at that point of time, just make sure you write it and don't leave it blank. This is again very important. Um, CP2, do we need to write data checks, or you can do both ways, Shripriya? It's fine. You can do both ways. In Look, I'm getting a lot of CP2 questions. In CP2 for people appearing, IE, I don't practice at all. IFoA students for CP2, CP3 just skip IAI papers. Extremely unnecessary. Extremely. CP2, CP3. Ma'am, I have completed 80% of CS1 syllabus. Yes, you can clear your exam, Kamran, provided you are giving your 100% to that 80% that you have studied. So if I have studied 80% of the syllabus, I know 100% in and out of it. In the paper, let's say suppose your luck is extremely good and you don't get any question from that 20% part which you have not done, or maybe you are just getting a little bit part from there, you can definitely clear your exam, right? So make sure you are revising that 80%. Don't sit and solve that 20%, because in order to study that 20%, you will need another 10 days, which is obviously not possible. So you can revise the entire content of uh, whatever you have done, paper A, paper B, and I've already mentioned earlier how your revision strategy should be. For CP2, I will suggest a very good. See, I last minute mock examination is something which I never suggest. Priyank, for any paper, 2 days, 3 days left to your examination and sitting for a mock is very, very stupid decision to make. But if you still want to take up an easy paper, I think you any 2019 paper you can do, because 2019 paper CP2 papers were easier, so you can do that. But make sure you don't like you don't feel underconfident if you don't you're not able to solve it. So I think 2019 paper is good. You can do that. Um, you should write it, Shripriya. You can write it. Not an issue. You should write it. You should. In IA, generally we don't, but IFoA, yes, we do. SP5, Shripriya, I've already commented earlier when Pushya asked me for SP7. Exactly same thing for SP5. But since I've given SP5, so I can give you a few additional tips. Go through X assignments. X assignments are actually great. I mean, it's extremely great for IFoA students. And it's a very good thing for revision. So SP5 X assignments are brilliant. You can definitely go through them. I think there are 5 to 6 X assignments. And then ACITs again, go through the summary of all the chapters, revise all the formulas, sums, whatever is practiced. I've shared, if you have seen, I've shared my spreadsheets with you all where I have solved all the questions. You all can go through that and just go through the notes, like the material. The theory is extremely important, so just go through. Don't skip out on theory. The paper will be 80 to 85% of the paper will be theory, so make sure you read it. Uh, Ma'am, I'm left with Samarth Rathi. Uh, just do recent past papers, 2 to 3 to 4 terms. Don't do more than that. Don't be scared. It's fine. You might have done another questions and all that. So if it's you are just past papers are not done, don't focus on what is not done now. Just focus on what is done. Last moment revision is only what is done. Um, Raghav, you can solve all the recent papers, 3 to 4. Past paper solutions are there on the IFoA. You just type IFoA past papers and you get it on your Google. Okay, so I can still see a lot of questions, but we are running out of time. You all can put down your questions on in the chat box, and hopefully we'll be commenting on the same. Don't worry. All my CP2 students, I don't know why you have come up over here and asking so many questions. We discussed a lot in the previous class. Some of you missed it, so please you can see the video. This Saturday also we are having the class, so you can ask your doubts over there. Um, yeah, that's it. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. If you have any further questions, you can mention in the chat box and then we can go ahead. This session was only for IFoA. IEI will be keeping it soon, Yatish, and we'll be sharing IEI tips over there. Okay. Thank you so much. Bye bye. All the best to all of you. I hope all of you clear your exams, be very confident, sleep properly, uh, have water properly, eat good food, right?